Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 to the World Touring Car 800, or at least the first few races of it. There are a lot of cars, a lot of races rather, in this series. So, now before we get into it, apologies for the lengthy gap between videos. I have been on the money grind in this game, trying to save up for a bunch of cars that appeared in a Legends car dealership all at once. That is for a future project, no spoilers on that for now. I'm not quite ready yet, so there's still another handful of cars I need. But anyway, that is, as I said, for the future. But anyway, the first race for this video is here at Dragon Trail. And I believe this is a reverse direction, or at least the reverse of what I'm used to. But anyway, let's see if we can make any progress in the early phase of this race. We have a small group of cars in front of us. Let's see if we can make the move down the inside of the Porsche as we head towards the chicane. We do so, and we make that move nice and easy. Got the Ford in front of us now. We absolutely send them to the next dimension. Unfortunately, a barrier saves them from too much interdimensional travel. But anyway, we will also make the move on them, and we are up now into P17, also overtaking the Alfa Romeo 4C. I bet they didn't foresee that. Swiftly moving on from that terrible joke, I'm about to make another. Let's overtake the Lexus remote control car, the RC F. Goodbye. Moving on again, we overtake an Australian in an Italian car and an Italian in a Japanese car. On to lap 3 now, and we are about a third of the way through the field, although the cars towards the front, as always, tend to be a bit faster. We continue to work our way through. Let's try to be a little bit more serious now, and we make a few more spots up into P12, bouncing off the outside wall there, still trying to learn this track in reverse direction, but so we maintain our position. And the straight line speed, I don't even know if I mentioned what car we're driving. You would have seen it at the start anyway. We're driving the Toyota Supra GT500 from 1997. GT500 cars usually are classed as Group 2 cars, but I guess because this one's so old, from the late 90s, it's Group 3, not quite as quick. So, compared to the GT3 cars, it's probably a little bit slower through the corners, but through the straights, on the straights, it is mega quick. So that's where we can make up a lot of time. So we just have to be a little bit patient and really make the most of the straights. You'll also notice we're on the lowest fuel mix, and that is for good reason. The fuel burn in this race is very, very high, and we will need to make a pit stop at some point as well, so that's something to keep an eye on. Anyway, we continue to push on, fastest lap of the race as we go for the move down the inside once again into the first corner, up into P8 now. Once we get a bit of slipstream here, P7 should soon be ours. We'll be able to make the move down the inside into the chicane. We'll probably get the position even before that as we bounce over the curbs, but we get the job done up into 7th position, taking a bit of a shortcut there, but just making the most of the track width we have available, up into the top 6 now with that next overtake. So we are absolutely flying through the field here at Dragon Trail, and we are not halfway through the race. So it's coming to us so far, so we'll just have to see how the rest of the race plays out. We move on then to the end of lap 4, and a lot of people are in pit lane. We move ourselves all the way up into 2nd position with that, so that is great news. We go very deep into turn 1, but we just about get away with it. So up into P2, we just have the race leader to chase down. I don't know if they're all on 2 stops, but I guess we'll find out. We'll be pitting on this lap though. We're going to split the race 50-50. It's the fastest way to do it, so let's just move on. So into the pits we come then, and we will refuel. You can see we can only just barely make it on a 1 stop, so it is very much possible that other drivers may need to make a 2 stop because we were on maximum fuel save. the whole time basically. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, we will refuel and just go slightly over the mark just to be sure, and we'll get back out on circuit and see how the rest of the race pans out. We are in P10 at the moment, so yeah, we'll see what the rest of the race has in store for us. We're on fresh tyres, and we have a great straight line speed here. We might be able to make a move down the inside. Yeah, we're close enough. We will if we hop the curb, bounce off the wall there, but we make the move up into P9. We will probably grab 8th position here on the exit. We do so, move ourselves up into 8th place. A bit deep into the left-hander, but we carry enough speed to hold the position. So as we continue to push on, then we move ourselves up into P6 as a few more pit stops are made, and we run a bit too deep into turn 1. That's going to cost us a position, maybe even 2, as there's another car coming. Yep, the Audi there, getting through on the inside. They're up into P7. We drop ourselves into P8 with that mistake. So 2 up, 2 down along the straight there, and it's turn 1, but we get 1 position back up into P7, and with some aggressive lines through the chicane, we might be able to get this 2nd position back as well, trying to sneak through on the inside, and we're back up and into P6 as we try and now navigate this very awkward left-hander. We get through there nicely enough this time and make our way back up ahead, although we've wandered off the road here and absolutely plonked into the barrier and gone a full 360, getting hit by both cars behind, and somehow out of that only lost 1 position. I think I was distracted at the time by something and not looking at the screen, so there's your lesson in distracted driving for the day. But anyway, yeah, we need to try and get that lost time back, so let's keep pushing on. And at the end of that lap, 1 more car comes into the pit lane, moves us up into 6th position once again, and again we struggle into the first corner. This time we keep things a little bit more contained and don't lose quite as much time. End of lap 8, more pit stops, and we move ourselves up into 3rd position with those. And now with 2 laps to go and 2 cars to pass, we really do have to get a move on. And we have one of them right in front of us. It's time for another chicane overtake as we barge our way past the WRX, goodness me, and move ourselves up into 2nd position with only another Toyota Supra in front of us. And so now we move on to the final lap of the race, and the leader is, well, 6 seconds up the road, but I've been watching the lap times and I think we have the chance to come back in them, and already we have gained some time. So yeah, I think we can do it. The gap's already down by a second since we started the lap as we throw it through the chicane, bouncing off the wall awkwardly there, but still gaining time all the way. The gap's now under 4 seconds already. We've smashed the margin, so we're definitely within range of catching them. Very wide entry there, trying to carry as much speed as we possibly can, and they're within sight now. We can see the race leader, so we just need to keep things contained now, not make any mistakes, and I think we've got this. So let's just not do anything silly. It's a very easy track to make mistakes. The curbs are very high. It's very easy to bounce off the curbs awkwardly like that. Thankfully that didn't send us wide, but it very easily could if the curb chose to bounce us the wrong way. Certainly the way it feels sometimes. But we're right behind the race leader now, so we just need to wait for a straight and make our move. So that is exactly what we'll do here. And we're actually going to lap someone soon. But anyway, we'll go for the move down the inside. Oh, I've gone too late on the brakes, so off into the sand and into the barrier. And we have thrown it away now. There's no chance we can win from here. It's over. We're going to have to do this whole race again, although they've been held up a bit by the laps car there. We're going to go up into the maximum power mode. We might have a chance here into the slipstream with the line. Where is it? It's quite early, but we're going to cross the line. Did we get there in time? Yes, we did! Goodness me. That must have been one of the closest finishes I've ever had. Holy moly ravioli. Pointed 0, 1 to 4. Far out. I know the name's Eddie Igor Fraga, but that must have been Lance Stroll because I can't finish that close with anyone else in a video game. My goodness. I might as well put the Lance Stroll clips in the video right now because, you know, why not? Here they are. Drag race to the finish line, side by side with Stroll to the line. I have no idea if we got that or not. Rolly covers the inside, we've got to go to the outside towards the finish line. We're going to be side by side across the line, and I don't know if we quite got there. And here is the literal photo finish, as I'm trying to take a screenshot for the thumbnail. It would be so much easier if I actually knew what any of the buttons on the right did. But anyway, the headlights kind of make the whole thing a bit glary, which is a bit annoying. I don't really know anything about photography or what any of the silly words on the right mean, but anyway, might try and fix that later when I Google some stuff about photos. Yeah, anyway, cool. Let's not look at that anymore, and yeah, let's move on to the next race, the World Touring Car 800 race at Fuji Speedway, because it is raining here at Fuji Speedway, so it's going to make it very, very interesting. So let's get into it, and yeah, see how it goes as we get going here for the another 10-lap race. And well, this one could be a little bit trickier given it's in the wet conditions. I have turned the difficulty down for this one. As you can see, once again, immediately turning power down to the minimum. It's also, in these conditions, helpful to do that just to help reduce the wheel spin, and you know, sort of acts as a second traction control. I do run with traction control set to 1 in this game. You never really need more than that anyway. There's traction control settings range from off all the way from 1 to 5, but you really you don't need 2, 3, 4, and 5. They don't really do anything. There's more traction control than you ever need. So yeah, one traction control on 1 is plenty. Anyway, we've made our way through the first little cluster of cars up into P17. They can have their own little private battle for last place. We will continue pushing on and make the move up into P16. Onto the main straight then to complete the first lap. We move ourselves up into P15. This was, of course, going to be the strength of our car. Let's see if we can potentially gain some more places before we get to turn 1. We may be able to make the dive down the inside, and we won't quite be able to make the move. We will get there late on the brakes though, and we will make the move stick and maybe move ourselves up into 14th place. We may be able to get 13th soon. They're not too far ahead of us, so we'll stay on board, see if we can make the move down the inside into turn 2. We've actually got 2 cars immediately in front of us. Bit of contact there as we tried to carry a little bit too much speed into the apex there, but we've got the nose in now down the inside as we make a bit of contact with the back of the Corvette, but we won't be long now until we make the move around the outside, and we drift a little bit wide, but we make it through, move ourselves up into P12 now. So good progress. We still have 1 more car immediately in front of us before we have a little bit of a break, so we will once again remain on board until we can make the move on. Then we carry good speed through the right-hander, and we'll be able to carry that through and make the move up into P11. Onto the main straight once again. We'll see if we can make some more overtakes along here. We move ourselves up into the top 10 now, and we're only a couple of laps into the race. So this one, I did turn the difficulty down because I thought it'd be more difficult in the rain, but that may not be the case. But anyway, we'll see how this race continues to play out. But anyway, we make a few moves down the inside, and we found our way up into P8 at the moment. So moving up 3 places along the straight, and now just 7 cars are left in front of us. So let's see if we continue moving forward. We've got another one right in front of us, so let's see if we can make the move to the right here. Through this long sweeping right-hander, we'll get through and make a move up into P7. And only a moment later we catch the top 6, the GTR in front of us, and we make the move down the inside, and we'll grab another position as well, and maybe another one. We can't quite make that one. We'll just settle for the GTR, and the WRX couldn't quite grab the Supra, but we're pushing them all the way through, and on the exit, we struggled quite a lot for traction on the exit of these corners, but once the speed builds, that's where this car really shines. But just immediately out of the low speed corners, this car does struggle quite a lot. We are probably lacking in downforce compared to these more modern GT cars. Ours is quite old at this point, but still quite fun to drive, and is relatively stable. Doesn't really try to jump out from underneath you all that much, so it's a very reliable car and very nice to drive. But anyway, we're onto the main straight once again, which means it's time to zoom. Here we go, 1 position, move to the right, 2 positions, into the slipstream, to the left, 3 positions. We're just weaving in and out of the traffic here, like we're on the highway, as we now have to deal with the braking zone. We've got the Viper in front of us now, and well, they're very slow on the apex. Goodness me, I thought I was slow through the corners, but that Viper is something else. But anyway, we get through on them, and we once again struggle for traction on the exit. The Viper holds on. They've got the race lead at the moment, so yeah, we have to just wait for an opportunity. I think the sort of sweeping corners like this, we have a bit of an advantage, and that is where we're able to almost get through around the outside. 2 wheels on the grass, but we're able to still maintain a bit of momentum so we don't lose out too much, but we have to remain behind for a little bit longer. We'll just need to wait for one more opportunity and try and make the most of it. Here we go, good traction on the exit this time, and we finally make the move up into first place as we get a bit wayward there on the exit, but we maintain the position. Alrighty, we now move on to the end of lap number 8, and the track is starting to dry, and we are out of fuel. We need to come in to put just a little bit of fuel in to get to the end, but also to fit the intermediate tyres just to go to the end of the race. I don't want to fit the slicks yet because it's still quite damp offline, so if we do venture off the ideal line, we'll be in a world of trouble. Hello? Okay, that's not a telephone, that's just the pit lane alarm system. But anyway, we put the fuel in, get a new set of tyres on, and off we go again. We still have the race lead, so let's just push on to the end. And that's we do. We cruise to victory here at Fuji Speedway. This one came pretty easily. And yeah, I thought the driving in the rain would be quite difficult, but in the end it was probably actually easier than the dry weather race. So yeah, I probably actually should have expected it, because Fuji is a track I am quite familiar with, despite the fact the new last sector is awful since they changed that, but the rest of the circuit's very good. But anyway, yeah, that's the way it is. We move on now to the third race, another 10 lapper, and this time we're at Monza. We've increased the difficulty once again, so let's get into it. It's dry weather here, so let's get cracking. And this is a circuit that will definitely very much suit our car. This car is all about straight line speed, and well, you know what Monza is all about. It is the temple of speed, so yeah, we should be absolutely fine here. We immediately make our way through the first few cars that go wandering off the road through Curva Grande, so that's not great. And we plummet ourselves into P19 after gaining a couple of spots off the start. Don't worry about the little shortcut there, we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. And yeah, get our positions back, move ourselves into P18. So here we are. We've got P17 in front of us. We'll go for the move down the inside into the second Lesmo. Can't quite get it done. a little peak there, but couldn't get the move done, and we'll have to wait for the back straight, having to straddle that curb there, but we got the move done, and now we'll focus on the field of cars ahead of us, see if we can close the gap to them as we head through the Ascari chicane all over the place through there, as the two cars ahead run side by side, the Ferrari losing out there, but we'll make the move on both of them as they both had absolutely rubbish exits out of the Ascari chicane, and that makes us up 2 positions and into P15. That was terrible English, but regardless, we continue pushing on. We got a quarter of the way through the field already on the first lap, despite the little off, so not doing too badly. Here we go again along the main straight, and the positions are going to come flying at us here, already gaining 2 places. It'll be 3 by the time we get to the apex of turn 1, or have we gone a bit deep? No, we'll make it just about there through turns 1 and 2, although we do lose out for a moment, but once we get the power down, we maintain a position. So yeah, any battles we have are very short-lived, because as soon as we get the power down, we move ourselves ahead. So up into B12 now then, as we close into the next group down the inside of the Corvette, and a bit of biff and barge to move them out of the way, but regardless, it's done, and we've moved ourselves up into P11. We struggle a little bit, just like I do in the F1 games, through the Lesmos. Just this style of corners, I guess, not too confident with, but on the straights we make up for that lost time quite easily. In the slipstream we'll be able to close up, and we'll be able to make the move down the inside into the Ascari chicane, late on the brakes, and we'll get the job done. I think we're still running side by side actually, and we won't quite get the job done on the Audi, and we'll have to remain behind for a little bit longer, but once again the straight line speed will help us in getting the job done, and we'll get another position as a bonus as we've both been gaining. So yeah, the cars in this race definitely don't seem to be starting in the exact sort of order of speed. They do seem to sort of swap around amongst themselves, which makes it a bit more interesting as well. Some faster cars that make their way through, which is good. And you can see some of those battles playing out in front of us. We're just going to grab a lot of them at once, 3-for-1 deal, as we head down into the Variante del Retafilio. But unfortunately, we got ripped off, and we only get 2 of those positions. As briefly we only had 1. We'll get the second one back, and by the time we get to the De La Rocha chicane, we'll probably get the 3rd one anyway. As we all know, we've driven ourselves off the road again. That's just brilliant. So that's just a bit of dodgy driving on my part, but anyway, yeah, typical Monza stuff. It's all chopping and swapping and changing. So we found ourselves in the top 10 now, so we're still doing alright for ourselves. Let's see if we can make a nice little switchback move here as we move to the right between the Lesmos, move ourselves up into P9. Oh, awkward line there through the second Lesmo though. And that's going to give us a terrible exit, and you can see the time we've lost to the group ahead. So yeah, that's how quickly it can change here. Let's see if we can try and close up to them. Once again, I was about to cut away, but we've already closed a fair amount of that margin, because they're running side by side, and by the time we exit the Ascari chicane, we're going to be right there making contact. Bit of smoke coming from those tyres of the 3 cars ahead, and by the time we get to Parabolica, I think we're going to have all these positions once again, and well, there we have it. We've got all those positions back as we go a bit deep into Parabolica, and I'm having a lot of trouble with this trio of cars. As soon as I get past them, I forget how to drive, and yeah, when they get back past, I need to be more focused and actually hit my marks, and be braking at the right times. So let's try this again into turn 1. Can we make it through here and start catching the next group of cars? We do get through, the first chicane nicely that time. We've cleared those cars finally, so now we can finally chase down our best mate from race 1, and we're going to make the move in a straight line before we even get to the first corner. We move on now then to the end of lap 5, and it's time to come in for our one and only pit stop onto a new set of the hard compound tyres and another load of fuel into the car. Looks like our fuel range is around about 6 laps, so yeah, we are pretty stretched on what we can do in this one. We almost have to stop on lap 5 or 6 in order to get to the end. I went a bit short there, it looked like, so could be interesting. We may have to do a little bit of the old lift and coast, but thankfully we have good pace here, so it shouldn't become too much of an issue. Big lunge down the inside, bit of a barge out of the way. Oh, hello. Tried to barge them out of the way. They just decided, oh, I'll just take a shortcut instead. Fair enough, I guess, but straight line speed. See you later, alligator. And we move ourselves up into P5 once again. On to the start of lap 7, a few pit stops being made, and we move ourselves up into 3rd position with those. Towards the end of lap 7 at Parabolica, we have the chance to go for another on-track overtake, a chance which I immediately ruined by going way too deep and losing that position immediately, so that's brilliant. But anyway, we'll see if we can get the position back on the straight, and well, straight line speed, easy done. Moving ourselves up into 2nd position now, just the race leader to go. And the race leader once again is the Dodge Viper, which we make an easy pass on in a straight line towards Parabolica. Hopefully we don't go too deep this time, not too bad, and we get a nice enough run through there. 2 laps to go, we can just push on to the end. And to push on to the end we do. We cross the line to take a 1st position here at Monza, and that is the final one for this episode. 3 races from 3. We still have, I think, 9 to go across probably another, maybe even another 4 episodes, because there are a few longer races that might, I mean, one might even have an episode of its own. But anyway, yeah, and let's see how it goes. But for now, we have to, of course, read through an extra menu. So let's head off and do that. And so here we are. Congratulations, you've got all... okay, well, I've skipped past that way too quickly. But anyway, we have assembled a collection of Honda NSXs. And we get a 6-star roulette ticket for our efforts. Collection Honda NSX. Without a doubt, these 3 Hondas changed the way the world views Japanese sports cars. They make a fine collection. Honda was founded by engineer Soichiro Honda in 1948, following Japan's defeat in World War II. A mechanic at heart, Soichiro approached competition racing as an engineering laboratory. His was the first Japanese company to compete in the notoriously dangerous Isle of Man TT, as well as the first to compete in Formula 1, the pinnacle of Formula racing. Indeed, time and again, Honda has proven its worth on the world stage. Outside of its motorsport achievements, Honda has also produced a number of legendary street-legal sports cars. Among these are the S500, which debuted in 1963 and had a displacement of only 531 cc, as well as FF models like the CRX and Integra and the S2000, an FR sports car. Debuted in 1990, the NSX represents the height of sports car development at Honda. Taking a cue from F1 machines, Honda's engineers gave the NSX a midship engine rear-wheel drive layout. and made it the world's first production car to be clothed in an all-aluminium monocoque body. From visibility to handling, the NSX had it all, making it the envy of automakers the world over. This NSX Type R from '92 is truly legendary. It is the fastest, most stoic NSX around. Purged of all excess, its weight was reduced by 120 kilograms, and it boasts a streamlined engine and underbody. In '97, the NSX received an expanded 3.2-litre displacement and, in 2001, fixed headlamps. This NSX Type R from '02 incorporates these minor changes. Distinguished by its aerodynamic advantages, it is capable of sticking to the track at high speeds, thereby offering an incredibly smooth ride. Here, the first act of the NSX came to a close, and it wasn't until 2016 that the series would be reborn. Which brings us to the hybrid 4-wheel drive 2017 model. Like the original NSX series, it is equipped with a midship V6 engine. But this time around, it is paired with electric motors in the front and rear that send power to all 4 wheels. It is a sports car that speaks to the technical and creative legacy left by Soichiro Honda. Alrighty, thank you Luca for the little story about the Honda NSX. We have a 6-star roulette ticket to trade in now, so let's see, we might as well do that now. See what we get. So we'll spin this one and yeah, see what our options are. They're all engines, so we're going to win an engine swap of some kind. So what is it going to be? It is a Chevy Camaro Z01 1LE engine. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one. So yeah, I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. Other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.